Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're going to talk about XRP, but indirectly, because I'm going to talk about what was going on while XRP was still sitting tied up with the SEC through Ripple versus SEC. And I'm going to talk about how corrupt our U.S. government actually is at the same time. And I'm going to show you exactly all the events we're seeing now are all leading up to one thing. Sam Bankman-Fried lost $8 billion of FTX client money. He donated $100 million in stolen customer funds to U.S. politicians. The U.S. government are prosecuting his fraud, but dropping his political campaign finance violations and likely won't claw back the politicians for victims. You know, this is the most disgusting thing I have heard all week. And you know, it shows you how corrupt our U.S. government actually is. And you know, if I was holding my crypto at FTX when the collapse happened, and I found out that they were using these funds, my funds, to fund U.S. politicians, that would absolutely outrage me, because I wouldn't even have a say where that money was going during this time. But you know, I think this is going to get even worse, because I think once this is out of everybody's mind and everybody forgets about Sam Bankman-Fried, this guy is going to end up going home. I don't even think he's going to spend his life in jail, because he tied to himself to all the right people. Biden installs Merrick Garland, old clerk, to one of the most high-profile federal prosecutor positions in the nation. Has Steve Ricchetti hooks Sam Bankman-Fried up with the Ukraine National Bank for wartime donations. FTX makes money, sends to Biden via donation. Sam Bankman-Fried gets caught running a scam. Garland tells SDNY to drop campaign finance charges so that Sam Bankman-Fried doesn't spill info on the Ukraine deal. Biden gets rich, Sam Bankman-Fried gets off, and the American people get screwed. And you know, that's what happens in this country time and time again. And you know what's really the worst part of this? It's retail investors' money. You know, people came in to crypto thinking, okay, I'm going to invest my money so I could get away from my 9-to-5 job, so I could get ahead of inflation. So maybe I could get some sort of financial freedom in the future. And instead, they walked away with nothing because of this guy right here and our corrupt U.S. government. And let's go into the Ukraine. Look what's happening there now. BlackRock and JP Morgan set up Ukraine Reconstruction Bank. And I still think that money laundering is happening in the background most likely. And that's going to continue to happen time and time again. But now we're going to talk more about Ukraine, and we'll talk more about BlackRock and JP Morgan towards the end of this video. U.S. courts reject Binance founder CZ Binance's latest request to travel to the UAE ahead of his sentencing next year. I even think CZ had to be removed for a reason. I think that happened for a reason. And it all leads to the same thing. This right here. The digital dollar is coming on the back of the FTX collapse, but they had to get Binance out for some reason also. A switch to a cashless, centrally controlled digital form of currency could be relatively simple. Currently, the Fed and several major banks are running a digital dollar pilot, and it's being pushed as a good idea by media outlets, including opinion writers in the Wall Street Journal. The Fed is preparing the electronic form of currency in conjunction with similar efforts by other nations. After all, the argument may go, if the United States doesn't innovate, China or someone else will. Some in Congress already support the idea, and FTX may have provided just the grounds needed for a transition to such a system. Now, fast forward to today and look what's going on. We have Elizabeth Warren out there going in the same direction, saying crypto's only used for illicit activities. People only use it for drug dealing and to finance terrorism. They are painting a picture around crypto that they can use to create a digital dollar. It's the same reason that if they run a pilot for a digital dollar, what, you think they just run that pilot for nothing? No, they plan to implement one at some point. Then there's this clown right here, Gary Gensler. He says regulation would protect crypto investors. Now keep in mind, he met behind closed doors with Sam Bankman-Fried.
The securities laws apply to crypto security tokens, and there's nothing incompatible with those tokens with the securities laws. Investors still benefit from disclosure, and investors get to choose based on that disclosure. Investors benefit from laws against fraud and manipulation and other conflicts in the markets. And we've just seen so many people hurt and lost their money, hoping for a better future.
Yeah, all those people that put money in FTX and bought crypto using FTX, they planned on a better future. And because Gary Gensler turned his head because he was so focused on Ripple instead, because that's what Jamie Dimon wanted, FTX fell and took a lot of retail investors' money with it. And those people are not getting made whole. They're not getting their money back. And now these people probably left crypto forever and never looked back. And that's why they need to remove this guy before he creates even more damage in the crypto space. CBDCs facilitate the tracking of purchases and possibly implementation of restrictions based on social or political scores. Now, when you look at CBDC versus Bitcoin, and I don't hate Bitcoin. I just don't like Bitcoin maxis because for some reason, they always have to bring Bitcoin to the conversation. But when you look at this, it shows you Bitcoin is a direct competitor for a CBDC. And that's why Elizabeth Warren wants to get rid of Bitcoin. It's the same reason now Jamie Dimon is talking about crushing Bitcoin. Because the banks will no longer stay relevant. They want a CBDC so they can stay relevant in the future. And they are going to implement this at some point. It's coming. But when you talk about Bitcoin ETFs, and I think that's the biggest distraction going right now in the crypto space, think about Jamie Dimon from all the way back in 2014. Bitcoin is a terrible store of value. 2015, Bitcoin will not survive. 2016, Bitcoin is going nowhere. 2017, Bitcoin is a fraud. 2017, I am not going to talk about Bitcoin anymore. 2018, I regret making that comment. 2018, I don't really give a shit about Bitcoin. 2022, I am a major skeptic on crypto tokens, which you call currency like Bitcoin. 2023, December, I have always been deeply opposed to crypto, Bitcoin, etc. If I were the government, I'd close it down. Now, December 29th, BlackRock, Valkyrie name authorized participants, including JP Morgan, for Bitcoin ETF. Why all of a sudden is JP Morgan wanting to get involved with Bitcoin? Now, the Bitcoin maxis will say that's because he doesn't want to get left behind. I'm thinking more on this line. BlackRock has a plan for Bitcoin. JP Morgan most likely talks to Larry Fink. I mean, come on, these two people are working together in the Ukraine on that reconstruction bank over there. So they're going to get on board with Bitcoin. I think they're going to create some sort of situation around Bitcoin that is irreversible. And it's going to lead to the fall of Bitcoin. Because Jamie Dimon In my opinion, he's like one of those people that you can't trust in any way. And BlackRock, you could definitely not trust them. But there's something bigger going on. And all this is happening right now as the world is transitioning to digital money, digital payments. XRP is about to rise with a new financial system at the same time. Are they distracting us from keeping our eye on the prize, XRP? Or are they coming to tear down Bitcoin so that a CBDC can rise from the ashes of Bitcoin? I'm going to leave it up to you because I've been looking at this in so many different ways. I want to know your opinions. Put it in the comments section down below. When they crash the US dollar, all that's left is the digital currency. And I think they're rushing to the bottom on the US dollar. I've been pointing that out in video after video all throughout this year. And, well, last year and the year before. And everything's moving fast now. You see what's going on with China and Russia and the BRICS. And as that keeps pushing forward, the US has to keep pace. The EU has to keep pace. And at the same time, you have Bitcoin at the center of all of this being pushed on the mainstream media news to retail investors. And they're trying to make all that hype around Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin was to come crashing down, that would be all over the mainstream media news as well. And think about it, at the same time, the banks are in a hell of a lot of trouble. It could create an emergency situation for a CBDC. But I want to know what your opinions are. Put it in the comments section down below. Until all this happens, we got to stay patient, stay positive. Let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.